Welcome, everybody, to episode 5 of Founders Untold. I'm here with my guest, Boris Lopez, who is COO of South Dade Group, comprised of several dealers here in South Florida. And so welcome, Boris. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, the Q. Good. Yeah, he's pretty good at his job. So, Boris, I know we're sitting in your newest showroom here, which is absolutely astounding. But this isn't where it started, right? The story started a long time ago. So take us back to when that story really started for you. And I know it started in Venezuela, right? So why don't we start there, and then we'll get to how you got here.
It's a long story that I will try to summarize to make it fun. But yeah, it started like 22 plus years ago. Okay. I was going to school with a friend. I was studying system engineer. And I was with a friend of mine, and I was a really good student. He was working
still are great. Yeah, we love to study, and you haven't given up on learning. And I think that's what makes you as good of a CEO as you are, right?
Thank you. Yeah. Well, I think that's part of life. Stay learning and keep, every time it's a new things, and you need to learn from that. Yeah, I believe in studying and getting better every day. Anyways, I was going to the school with him, and he was working as a manager for a body shop in a dealership in my hometown. That was Cumaná in Venezuela.
Okay.
They were having an issue with the system they were installing, and he invited me to see if I can fix it. That day I went with him, and this is a funny story that my partner always tell. I went with a cap like on reverse, and then like I wearing like a short, and then they invited me. I saw the problem. Mario, like my partner now, and he invited me at that time to kind of fix his computer and fix the system. I did it. He asked me if I have anything to do, and I started working there as an assistant for IT.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how it started. Then they offered me a position at selling cars, and I say yes. I have nothing better to do. I fall in love with the company and the philosophy that they have back in that time.
And this was a dealership. Where in Venezuela?
Yeah, it's a Toyota dealership in a small city called Cumaná.
Okay, so
it's Venezuela. Yeah.
Okay.
And again, I fell in love with the philosophy, with the way they work, the culture they have. Anyway, I started working there when I was 24. I was already an operational manager.
Okay.
On that store, I'm curious.
And the car business in Venezuela was a little bit different back then, right? It's not the car business that we know, but para todos los venezolanos que están escuchando, they know it was the Wild West. Like,
yeah, it was different. Was the Wild West. I was getting into the time. Again, this is a really complex. We can spend maybe days talking about why it was this way, but was a waiting list of people buying cars. And then like here, when the pandemic happened, there was a lot of similar situation.
You have flashbacks to Venezuela?
A lot, yeah, huge flashback. It was a lot like you buying a new car and then you can resell it for more, like happened here a lot of times. Insurance checks coming more than what the people pay for the cars. That was happening over there too. I believe people saw that back then as an investment or protecting their money. Like that was the reason they were buying cars.
And you're the right brand. I mean, Toyota was...
Yeah, Toyota was the right brand. Toyota in South America is huge. It's more like a luxury brand because hold the value, like same here. Toyota is one of the ones that hold better the value, and it's a philosophy behind that too. It's the reason why they hold the value. They control the base supply, and they control how much they produce. They don't grow like spikes. They grow steady and stable. Same thing over there. Obviously, pretty much every car was in the same situation. Every brand was in the same situation, but Toyota was the top. But besides that, I was really into learning about service and the customer service. And again, Toyota in Venezuela was real influenced by the Toyota Japan manufacturer. And because of that, they use a different standard for quality. They measure pretty much everything different. And that was part of my school.
So would you say that's like the Toyota golden standard, and Toyota USA just changes things a little bit, maybe to make it easier for operators here stateside, or why the difference?
It's not only that. They have something called the Toyota Way. It's a book about
4 pillars.
Yes. It's obviously the customer, the dealer. They were the main pillars of the Toyota way. But yeah, also the standard on the service operation, the way they measure things. It's not only that I make it complicated for dealers, it's different.
Gotcha.
Obviously, Venezuela, like other countries in South America, is different because the volume is different. Like here is one of the biggest markets in the world. Like Toyota sells 2 million vehicles. Over there back in that time, I think Toyota was not selling more than 100,000 units.
In the whole country?
In the whole country, and that was the best year ever.
Wow.
I think the best year ever, Venezuela was selling around 500,000 vehicles to all the manufacturers. Here, we're talking about 17.5 million new cars sold every year. We're talking
500,000 is Miami-Dade County only.
Yeah, we're talking about a completely different markets, but South America is similar, which means they have different way to control because they want to retain the consumer in a different way. Here, obviously, the quality is there, but they can blindside a little bit of things, like not paying too much attention to a lot of things that we're paying attention back in there, like how fast you can work internally in the shop, how efficient you can work internally in the shop, how you manage the parts, like the inventory, your way you manage the inventory over there is different than the way you manage the inventory here. New cars, parts, it's all different. Especially over there, one of the biggest difference on the business is they don't have F&I over there. Right. Here, we're able to connect directly with the banks and get approvals and have products that kind of protect the vehicles after that.
There was cash buyers over there.
Yeah, pretty much. Like we help with the banks. We facilitate that, making that possible for people to use the credit to buy cars. But again, completely different.
Yeah, totally different.
Completely different.
The minority over there were financing versus the minority here are paying cash.
Well, not necessarily like that. But we didn't have, the system was not connected the way it's connected here.
Gotcha.
Like people were financing the vehicles. I think basically maybe 95% of the vehicles were financed by banks.
Wow. Okay.
But we help putting together the papers and then we send it to the bank and the banks were the one approving or not to the customer. And the transaction takes days, like maybe a week or 10 days. Like a credit needs to be approved by the bank. Then we receive the money. For us was always like a cash sales.
Right.
But obviously we knew the customer would finance through banks. And back in that time was a lot of competition between the banks who wants to finance, who want to conquest the market. But it was not the same here. Here it's more options, like customer has better opportunities. Over there, the manufacturer was not as involved as the finance part. A lot of the offers in the US are coming from the manufacturers. Yeah. Like over there was not as involved. You know, you have a price, you want it, you pay for the car, then you find your own finance. It's a different way.
Gotcha. And so would you say that learning that way that they taught in Venezuela back then, because there's probably a big part of the business that you didn't have to focus on. I feel like here the name of the game is financing. There you're focused more on the customer experience. In your opinion, was that a better way for you to learn now that you've seen both sides?
I don't know. I think on the service, on the customer service side, I think was better because I had more time and I learned in a different way. But when I came to this country, I need to relearn everything again because everything was completely different. Like, I think one of my first decisions when I came to the country was a big mistake that I learned from that. Okay. And I'll finish the initial how I get here. Like, obviously, when I was working there, like, situation happened to Mario and his family, Mario and Lucy, that they need to came to this country, like,
urgently.
Yeah. Yes. And then after that, they found the Toyota dealership down here in Homestead. They had an opportunity and they bought it as a family. And I had the opportunity to come to this country back in that time and I started working again. Same thing. I started working as an IT assistant because when I didn't know English back in that time. We're talking 16 years ago. Like,
so you went back to your roots here, your comfort space, you still speak programming.
Yes. And that was what I was doing, helping putting cables together, like installing computers. And that was what I was doing when I came here. And I slowly, obviously, I have a little bit of knowledge from the business and slowly I start seeing what they were doing, how they do things. The used car market is a different thing. It's a part of the business. how you appraise car, how you receive cars. That was completely new to me.
Wow.
How they finance, everything was new. Took me a little bit of time to learn. We had a good people working for us back in that time, but again, we were learning.
Yeah, I mean, you were selling a very similar product because I know they still have some different trims and cars, but at the end of the day, it was a totally different process, right?
It was a totally different process and was a totally different industry. Based on what I see, it was the same thing we're selling, but it was a completely different. My mistake, the first one that I saw, like when I came here, I didn't understand why the process of finance, of salespeople, sales manager, like that back and forth. And I remember the first time we changed that, we say, we're not going to have more back and forth. We're going to have the same person doing everything that right now is working in a couple of stores. But back in that time, 16 years ago, was unseen. And then I said, like, you know what? We're going to have one person doing the entire process. And then we sold half of the vehicles we were selling the month before that. We were already below what we were expecting to sell. And then we said, you know what? Go back to whatever it was. And then I decided back in that time that I'm not going to make any change, that I'm going to sit down and learn and kind of understand how the market works. And then slowly I had the opportunity to work more as a manager back in that store. That was in 2011, because we were really struggling as a store. Like, again, we need to relearn everything we were doing. And I had the opportunity to start putting a team together. And I think that was the best learning things that I get from this country. Because again, when I was working in Venezuela, I used to work with the same culture, the same people, same way to think.
Venezolano.
Correct. Everybody's different because everybody's different, but yes, it's same language, same culture. You know what it is. Here, the initial shock was everybody was speaking in a different language.
Sure.
Even when you speak Spanish, they were from different part of
the
South America.
Spanishes.
They were talking Argentina, from Ecuador, from Colombia, obviously Venezuela. We have a lot of Cubans. And you need to learn how they talk. At the beginning, when I saw the Cubans talking, I thought they were fighting. And they were
people.
Yeah, they were friendly between them. And that's part that I need to learn that. And then assembling a team and putting a team together was a little bit complicated at the beginning. But once we start creating a right team to the store, that's when everything started changing. And nice. I think that was one of the biggest challenge we have. Understand people, understand how to talk to them, understand how to motivate them. Everybody's motivated in a different way. Some people is motivated by money. Some people is motivated by roles. Some people is motivated by learning. They want to learn more. They want to grow.
Professional development.
Yeah. I make a mistake at the beginning thinking like everybody wants to grow. Everybody wants to grow in the company, like doing a better role, like how I can help them to get there. And then later I realized that's not what everybody wants.
Sure,
some people wants to stable thing, doing my job, how I can do it better. And that's it. I don't want to grow in the company. I don't want to have a better role. I don't want to do this and that.
And so where would you put yourself there? Because I mean, going from an IT guy to COO of now a multi-dealer group, where were you on that spectrum? Were you always... What was your best reward? Was it a position? Was it the professional development? Like, where would you say you fall in that category?
I think one of the reasons I love this business is because I work with great people. And when I wake up every morning and I go to the office or talk by the phone with any manager, I love that. I love the challenge. I think being in a role, what I love more is having the challenge to do good things. When we were back, Mario would tell this story, like when he got the Toyota store, one of the guys from Toyota told him like, oh, we have a good news and a bad news. The good news, you're the last one in the country. The bad news,
terrible good news.
Yeah, terrible good news. And the bad news is you only can move up.
You can only
That's
go
it.
up.
And I remember when I started working as a general sales manager for that Toyota store, the district manager back in that time asked me what was my objective. I said, I want to sell 100 new cars. And he said, well, Boris, I love you, but I need to tell you that's never going to happen.
And when you said that, what were you guys selling like on a monthly basis?
24 new cars.
So when Mario acquired the dealer, was it thereabouts pretty stable in the 20s, like mid 20s?
I think it was around 40s, but remember that was back in 2009.
Okay.
Which means like that was the worst period on time on the economy and in the car industry too.
Yeah.
And then we got a small dealer in a far town called Homestead.
Yeah.
And,
Homestead is pretty booming these days. Homestead
right now is doing much better. But remember, they were coming from Andrew and they were recovering from that. A lot of business was lost back in that time. Houses was rebuilt. Everything was new. And yeah, that was pretty much what he bought. He bought that dealer, but with the trust and belief that we can do it better because we have, again, Mario was coming from a bigger linear of dealer. For me, it was the first time. For him, he's the third generation.
Okay.
Yeah, the dealer in Venezuela, like when we were here, was 100 years in business.
Oh, wow.
Because I was coming from his granddad, his dad, then Mario.
Yeah, he's Toyota through and through.
Yeah. And then, well, he got other manufacturers back then, like his dad also get a letter from Henry Ford.
Okay. Very cool.
Because they were representing Ford. And I think another manufacturer at some point, I think it was Mitsubishi. But yeah, he trusts that we will be able to change that. And besides, we don't have any other option. We need to make it work. Because if we want to stay here, we need to make it work. And yeah, when he told me about the 100 cars, was kind of like a little bit, I understand where he came from because he say, you don't have the inventory, you don't have the customers. This store never sold 100 cars before. Like, yeah, I love you. It's never going to happen. Funny story, I still seeing this guy around.
I was going to ask where he is these days.
Yeah, but I remember I started getting texts from him when we sold 100, when we sold 2, when we sold 300, when we sold 400. At one point, he told me, you know what? I was always trying to motivate you to do.
Of course, he flips it.
Going back to your question, what I love more is those challenges. I don't care which role it is. Like, could be any role for me. I don't really work for that. I always, since I started working, I didn't care much about roles. I care about how we can do the things better, how I can be able to contribute and be part of a team that do good things, and things that I'm going back home and I'm proud of. Like that.
And amongst those good things, I mean, this is a very philanthropic organization. You guys are involved in almost, I feel like, every major cause or even minor cause that's out there. You guys are very supportive of the community and many things. Is that why? Because that's just super important to you? Is that part of the good that you're talking about? Or is it putting somebody in their first brand new car? Like, what is it how do you define that good that you want to do? Or is it broad?
Yeah, well, I think it's a need for us to give back to the community. That's one thing. We create a foundation that is based more on education, because I believe that lasts longer. But that's not only my belief, it's the belief of the organization. We believe this lasts longer. And that's why we help a lot in there. But also, as you say, giving back to the community is doing a lot of things that surround us. We help Camilo's House, like cancers, foundations, like, again, giving back to the community, I think is important. When you say that selling a new cars to somebody, I remember at one point we used to have Friday meetings. I used to be part of that, the Friday meetings with all the sales team. And I love to see more like we're not selling vehicles. We're helping people with a need they have to move around. And then if we see it this way, we work in a different way. We don't want to only make profit from the cars we're selling. We really want to assist people. And the way, you didn't ask me this, but the way we move from 24, 30 vehicles to 100 to 200 to 300 to 400 was working like that. Back in that time, everybody, and right now, everybody's aggressive on the market. It's a lot about pricing and all that. We didn't have much to work, which means we need to work harder to earn business from people. And then back in that time, 2010, 2011, 2012, the economy was not the best. People had their credit destroyed. They didn't have many options. And the options they had is like, if they go to a big dealer, they didn't spend time with them because, you know what, this is going to take me hours to get this sold. This is going to take me hours to put this person in a car. I'd rather not waste my time on that. But for us, what's a lifeline there that we see, if we find an option, we'll take days. It doesn't matter. Like we don't care. We want to work with you. We want to sell you a car. What we saw that in return was at that time, a lot of the people were buying cars from us for the first time. They used to have good credit. Obviously, they destroyed their credit because the house market, whatever. And then they need help. When they need that help, we were there. We spend the time, we do that. We saw a lot of those customers returning from even driving far from Weston, from Doral, from any place, because we were the only one that spend the time and pay attention to them and make it work. Because at the end, they have a need. That's a lot of the philosophy we had. It's like, you know what? We don't see a customer. We see a long time consumer or friend that is going to be part of the family. Actually, when we see somebody, it's like, welcome to the Saudi family. That's how we see it. That's how we perceive the people that is coming to the stores.
Sure. And full disclosure, Boris has been a mentor for me for the last 10 years. I've learned endlessly from this man. And, you know, that part of the customer service is something that you've always been keen to. And I remember, you know, I feel like I would drive around when I first met you and take a picture of every car that had the South Dade dealership license plate around, you know, the tag, and send it to you because, like you said, they would be in West Palm Beach and you would see a South Dade Toyota tag, or you would see a South Dade dealer tag. And that just goes to show that most of those people didn't relocate. They were looking for that experience, and that loyalty is something that I think you guys have done a really good job of establishing, and it's hard to maintain, right? Because
it's really hard to maintain. And I remember when we started working at Homestead, one of the agencies we were working there, they say, don't mention that you're in Homestead because it's just too far and people won't drive. And we followed that direction at the beginning. I remember I would start getting calls from some people and we say, where are you located? I said, oh, Miami and the South. But we never mentioned Homestead at the beginning until we decide, you know what, this is our identity. We're Homestead, and we're going to give you something different. We want to do something different. Back in that time, we start offering lifetime warranty on vehicles. Like, we need to find a way to make your drive worth. We want to make you come back, and then we want to make you want to come back when you want to change your car. That was, and again, to make able to deliver that is not only us, is the team believing in that. We still have employees that is with us since that time because they're good people. They're good people. They buy into the philosophy. They really believe into that. And sometimes I hear them talking today and I see how they think. They think the way we want them to think. And they're part of that because they believe in that.
And they've been a part of it for so long, right?
They be part of the philosophy and the group for so long, but also they believe in that. I think you always want to go back and work for a place that is doing good for people. I don't know what type of talent you will attract to a place that they know they're taking advantage or they're raping people, you know, like I really believe in that.
Well, in the dealer space, I mean, you guys have a word for that. Can we throw it out here? We call them criminals, right? You know?
Well, yeah, that's a lot of what is out, especially in Miami, is obviously the fraud capital. I believe I saw so many things in all these years, like employees stealing, doing things like are wrong, like sometimes surprise me. Sometimes I catch people that I believe they were my friends. You know, I spend pretty much all day on the stores. Like, I remember back in that time in 2011, 12, 13, I was getting at the store at 8 a.m. and at 12, I was still there. I rarely see my family.
Yeah.
You become family, you become friends, close friends. When I found out some of them were doing things that are not aligned with what we want, that was tough. And that was a lot of the learning things. Like, but yeah, you're right.
And at first you don't believe it. You know, you want to think the best of people. And
yeah, well, that never changed. And again, I learned that from Mario too. Like, I always asking, like, how you keep trusting people after those situations. It's like, well, everybody's had their chance.
Yeah.
And I adopt the same philosophy. I'm basically doing the same. I'm trusting everybody until they prove me wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of criminals involved in the business. I think less and less. And I think with more information and transparency,
100%.
That is being pushing out of the business. But I believe a lot of people still think It's a criminal work.
There's a lot of people in the dealer space that are just trying to make the most amount of money as quickly as possible without caring how many bridges they burn. They don't care about the philosophy of where they work for. They're in it for themselves, right?
And the reason is, I believe, is so many variables on the deal. When you're buying a car, so many variables. Is the trading
new or used?
Yeah,
because I feel like they're two different things. Yeah, too. But used is even more variable.
Yeah, right? I feel like both. But obviously, used is more complex because you throw a little bit more things into the equation.
A couple,
but it's your trade, interest rate, like F&I products, like protection on the vehicles, like interest rate, like incentive, pricing, like all these things that come into a deal that if you move one things, like can make a huge difference at the end for a person.
Right. Specifically targeted towards their pay plan, maybe selfishly, and they're not caring about necessarily what's best for the store. They're just focused on themselves. And
yeah, I believe what is best, we need to align the goals. If my goal is what is best for me, that should be what is best for the store. If your goal, if it's not what is best for the store, it's not going to work. If we have all the alignments for, again, you ask pay plan and all that, needs to be aligned to what is better for the store, which means if you understand what is a pay plan, that's a direction. That's a job description. That's the way I see it. A pay plan should be a job description. If you do all of this, it will be right for the store, for you, and for the customer. It's for everybody will be on the good win-win.
And I mean, that sounds like a long way that you've come of thinking from, an IT guy connecting cables to now thinking about, aligning values of what's best for a customer, what's best for the store, what's best for employees. How do you get there? Like that's not something that you just wake up at night and you're like, I figured it out, right? I'm sure there was some trial and error. And then defining what is best probably has its challenges too.
Yeah. Obviously, I believe that school, college, and all of that give you the tools to think. That's what it is. Because at the end of the day, you can maybe implement what you learn or not, but you have a different way to think. And in my case, I really spend a lot of time thinking about what is best and what I can do better with the tools I have. Obviously, I have great mentors, which I learn from, like you mentioned. And then that gives you a little bit of experience. You never had the experience that these people give you, but you know through them what could be good or not. And then obviously it's timing, experience, making a ton of mistakes, learning from that. And that's what you usually see from these mentors. Like they already make all those mistakes. They already learn from all of this.
That's
then
the
now it's
mentors,
trying to,
right?
Yeah, now they're trying to pass that to you. You get what you can. But then, yes, but also that's my passion. I believe on as we were talking, education, study, growing, like it's never enough, which is a challenge for me because it's never enough.
Yeah.
It's never good enough. Like we can make, on Toyota is a award that we were having for 10 years. It's called President Award, which measure good customer service, good volume and sales, good volume and service, customer service and sales and service. And that's the award you're receiving. And I remember back in that time, I was going to a Toyota convention and I saw that our badge was gold, but we saw a lot of platinum badges. And then I said, like, what I need to do that? And then it was a different criteria. So like, okay, we'll fight for that and we do it. But again, it's never enough. When the pandemic was happening, we were able to be on the top 40 dealers in the country.
Congratulations.
Which was huge. Thank you. For the Toyota, again, small town in Homestead, talking like it's going to be on the top 40, which is top 5% of the Toyota dealers in the US and the world, because this is the country that is selling more. Yeah.
Right.
But it's, again, never enough. We were number 2 in the country for the Toyota, the Kia store at one point, and it's never enough. Again, I'm saying it's a challenge, and especially I need to pace myself sometimes with the team, because sometimes you need to say, great job, we did right.
Yeah.
it's hard for me to say that.
Sure.
Because it's like, well, we missed this, we missed
We're
that.
so close.
Yeah. But again, it's experience, it's time, learning a lot from the people that is working around us is huge. And that's my passion.
Awesome. Well, I know we jumped forward through the timeline a little bit. But you know, when you guys took over that store and it was selling 40 and you were able to hit 100, we talked a lot about Toyota, but I think that next chapter of the story is we got a different brand behind us, right? We have Kia here. So how did that even come about? What was your involvement in that? Was this, you just mastered all of Toyota product and you just wanted to learn more about a different product? And so nobody knew enough about Kia, so you wanted to be the expert the expert? Or how did Kia even come about? Where did it come into your story?
Yeah, it was an opportunity like back in 2019. Again, was a lot of experience, a lot of good reputation on the market, not only with consumers, it's also with vendors and people around, that they saw what happened in that Toyota store, how we were able to turn that around. And then they knock the door and they say, are you interested in becoming a Kia dealer? This was already a Kia dealer operating. Back in that time, again, with Mario and Lucy, we sit down and actually, this is something that we want to see. We were open. We start evaluating the business because at the end, this is what it is expansion, like how you keep expanding yourself and kind of becoming bigger again for everything. I heard sometimes you do it for the employees because that's the only opportunity they will have to have a better role, a better position, because at some
you only have so many managers at one store, right?
Yes. And yeah, that opportunity came to our reality. We went to a Kia convention invited by them. I never saw the cars before. I know what it was another brand. We had the opportunity to go and see the cars and the vision they have from the future. And we pursue that, and then we become the owners of this Kia store. Back in 2019. Was a challenge. Obviously, when we take the store was losing money, selling few cars, and then...
And what time in 2019? Because I know 2020 takes a turn. So the timing in 2019 is huge. So when would you say you guys officially closed?
We closed in November 19.
Oh, yikes. Okay. Yeah.
Just a time to get in the middle of the pandemic situation, which turned to be good at the end. Initially, the war was ending. Like, we didn't know what was coming and what was happening. But yeah, it turned to be good. But yeah, it was at the end of 19. This is funny, but we overpaid for this store back in that time. And then we were...
But it was a good real estate play. Now you guys have the new building here.
Yeah,
you can't even...
Yeah, no. I think every business is different. How you measure, how you buy, how you decide how much to pay. At the end of the day, we make an agreement with the manufacturer. And then we say, if we're able to turn this around, can we have the opportunity to grow? That happens after that on 20.
So is that the way you sweetened what you thought was maybe overpaying, is by getting that carrot at the end?
Yes. That was the...
Is that the justification of it?
Yeah, that was the justification of it. Like, obviously, I think it was a lot of things that align again to make us successful in this store. I heard a podcast the other day from the guy that sold this store to us. And then he is funny because he say every time he saw our numbers, he think what he could be doing different back in that time. There was a group from New York. They were the one owning this. And South Florida is, I believe, is a different animal. I think pretty much every state could be a different animal. Every location.
And Miami is a different animal from even Florida.
Correct. Miami is a different animal from anything up north. But yes, we become Kia dealers. We start working, implementing the same things we were learning, obviously with more experience. For some failures from the past that we learn, and then we use a different dynamic when we take the store. We kept all the employees back in that time. We offer them the opportunity. We still a few that are still working here, but we offer them the opportunity to stay and work with us in our philosophy and with our management. And then when I say things align, also Kia change the image, change.
Yeah. Oh yeah, these cars, I mean, they're spectacular.
Yeah, they change a lot. And that was a little bit of push, becoming a brand that was 2% market share to becoming a 8% market share, being a brand that everybody's watching now. Toyota is also watching what Kia is doing.
I remember when Kia was part of the NBA like slam dunk competition, and I forget who the player was that jumped over a Kia to slam dunk, and I was like, what is even a Kia?
Yeah. I remember his name. Anyways, but another one did it like the 3-time slam dunk contest winner he was flying over Kias.
Yeah.
For the last couple of years.
Very cool.
But yeah, the brand changed the logo, changed the designers for the vehicles, changed the work to change the perception from the consumer on we're not a shippy brand anymore. We have 10 years, we have 100 miles warranty on those vehicles, but we're going to build great vehicles competing with the market. And I think they have an amazing look, appealing more than Toyota, like make people from Highlines come to Kia more than people from Highline going to Toyota.
Yeah, people buy Toyota for its reliability and its loyalty, but it's never been luxury. If they wanted luxury, they go into Lexus, right?
Right.
But I saw that 2027 Telluride that you have.
It's amazing.
With the Alcantara, that is gorgeous.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Gorgeous.
And again, we saw a lot of people trading Range Rovers, Mercedes to come to Kia. We saw a lot of that. And then obviously that changed the perception for the customer, but also create a bigger challenge for Kia dealers. Like now we're not dealing with the customers that we were dealing before that has a lower expectation. Now we have customers with more expectation.
So do you have to change the way that you service customers now and redefine the whole customer experience because totally different customer you're going after? Do you change your marketing? Like what is that adaptation?
Well,
I know it's not that easy.
No.
Pinpoint it,
we were also supposed, it doesn't matter the brand you represent. I think you're always supposed to give the best service possible to the customer. That's what I think.
Sure.
What changed was the expectation for the customer. Expectation means when I was coming to this, obviously we remodeled the store to match what Kia image was looking to. We have a lot of customers at the beginning coming and saying, well, you remodeled the store and now you're trying to charge me more. So like, well, no, this is the price. Different expectation. Everybody was expecting to have a loaner. Everybody was expecting to have like an on-time communication, like in an hour, I need to know what is happening with my car. That needs to make us raise to the challenge. And now we need to adapt and challenge more our team. One things that changed, and you asked me about marketing, when we get to this location and it's happening to Kia, 95% of the market was in English. Marketing was only English. And I was part of the local regional console that they were defining how to invest. When I get to the console, 90% of the investment was only in English. Now it's 50-50. 50% is Spanish, 50% English. And we do the same we market a lot to the Spanish customer. When we acquire the store, I don't think they have too many Spanish speaker salespeople because it's not many customers coming to speak in Spanish. And I understand that because a lot of the first generation, like South American, doesn't, if I'm here in this country, I'm going to buy a car that maybe I was not able to buy when I was in my country, or let me have the best car I can, that I believe Toyota is one of the best ones, but Kia was not on my radar. It was not on my option. Now, the biggest change we see is that now more Hispanic and Latin customers are open to see, you know what, let me take a look about Kia. Obviously, the situation with the pandemic, like a limit inventory for pretty much every manufacturer helps because, okay,
force people shop.
Correct. I need a car.
Yeah.
Now, what are my options? That helps manufacturers like Kia, Hyundai, like they were not the primary choice for some people, but now, okay, let me take a look. Now I'm driving this vehicle. Oh, I love it. Now it's our job to keep them on those vehicles with the service, with the offers we can make, and that's what we're trying. We're trying to maintain the market share that Kia is gaining, and even increasing that. I'm making it more.
I mean, my dad absolutely loves his Telluride, and he shows it to everybody. Even if you're not a car person, he wants to take you outside and show you his Telluride. I mean, he's super proud of his Telluride, and I come with a Grand Highlander that I just got, last quarter. And I'm like, oh, look at my Grand Highlander. He's like, yeah, but does it have this? And
again, I think Kia is doing an amazing job with
really
the product. Like the product is becoming amazing, and they're investing a lot on that. They're also, the philosophy from Kia is great. Like they really believe on protecting the consumer, and that's one of the most important pillars from that. What I learned from Toyota too, the consumer is important. Once you care about that, then everything happens.
I mean, how does Kia offer a 100,000-mile warranty when if you go to what is that, Ford across the street, they're only doing 36,000? Why are the American brands only offering 36? I mean, even Toyota only offers 36,000 mile warranty. How can Kia really go out there and offer a 100,000-mile warranty? Is it because they're trying to attract those customers and that's something that will eventually go away? Or are they really standing behind their product for 10 years, 100,000-mile, and it's that strong of a product?
I think they're really standing behind their product and offering that warranty, giving transparency to the customers. I can tell Toyota is different because maybe you don't need that warranty for that long because the car doesn't break.
It's going to go for 200,000 miles anyways.
Yeah, you can drive the car for 200 miles. But we see Toyotas for more than 200 plus thousand miles going to the service and it's still running well.
Yeah, I sold my Land Cruiser with 187,000.
Yeah, that's an example. But we saw a lot of Corollas in the street still with 200 plus, 20 years on the road. Kia, I believe, they're trying to stand behind the vehicle and giving a little bit of trust to the consumer, like you're going to be covered. Like I can tell you internally how they manage that. Toyota, when they have a warranty issue, they go deep and spend time before they approve the warranty.
Gotcha.
Kia is done. Whatever. We have a noise, replace it. We have this, replace it. We have this, replace it. And as a consumer, I think it's great.
Does that help out in your service center as well? Like just expedite things quicker? You're getting faster,
It helps, but also replacing this many parts, it takes time. It takes good techs. Inventory, but take more like you need to have more experienced tech on the shop to be able sometimes to swap an engine, like change a completely transmission. Like you need to have a different type of technicians to be able to perform this job as often, because it doesn't happen a lot, but you need to be ready for that.
And so was that something that you knew coming into the brand, or was that something you had to adapt now that you had a new brand under your guys' belt? Did you have to reorganize your service center from the way that you had it modeled at your Toyota stores to change it and adapt it to Kia? And has that changed the way now you operate your Toyota service centers?
We need to change because it was completely different, but also because at the Toyota, we have the time to form the techs we have today. It's not like we have people that become apprentice and on time that maybe 5 years becoming a master tech.
Wow, that's a long.
Yes, that's
5 years is
going to like every time you walk into a dealer, we're talking to professionals, and the professionals on every aspect. To become a good salesperson, somebody that is working in a dealer for 10 plus years, that person is a professional. They have so much experience that they see so much that they're professional. The person that's sitting in F&I is a professional too. In our case, because they grow internally, every manager or F&I manager we have in the store, they sold cars before in our stores.
And if not, maybe even as porters, right? I know some will even start as porters,
correct.
Washing cars.
We have people that start washing cars and then could become a manager. And we believe in that because also that's the way you grow into the philosophy and the understanding about how we care about the customer. Nobody that is sitting in an F&I office never saw a car before from us. They understand the philosophy from the beginning, and then when they get to F&I, they understand that too. Then when they're managers, they understand that too. The same thing happened in service. The technicians, maybe they start as an oil change, and that's maybe the lower position that is there, but they go to school, they do some courses, and with the years, they become master tech. That's what it takes for that person to touch the cars. And especially now that is more technology involved. Answering your question is different from Kia to Toyota. We didn't have enough time to form the techs we want. Now that we expand into this building, that we have more service base based on what the cars that we were selling, we need more capacity on the service side. And then we need to build more techs into that and more professionals. But I can tell in Toyota, we can work with maybe 4 master tech, and that's more than enough for what we need. Here, I think we need like maybe 8 or 10.
Wow, double.
Yes. Because
And volume wise, I mean, are you guys servicing as many cars, or is that double the amount of master techs for half of the volume?
no, it's the same volume today.
Okay.
Is again, we're coming from a brand. The market share we have on the Homestead store is almost 22% market share.
You're saying
for that
Toyota Homestead?
Toyota Homestead. Toyota Homestead sales, the market shares of sales on Toyota and that on the area, like 10 miles around us, is almost 22%. That's the market share that Toyota has there. Nationwide is 15, which means we're higher there. Kia, we are almost 11%. Nationwide is 7%, but we're 11% on the market here around, which means we grew the units in operation. When we get the store in 2019, it was only 2,500 units in operation. I mean, only 2,500 Kias was in the area. Today, it's almost 9,000 Kias on the area, which means now we need more capacity to service those vehicles.
Yeah, it's a huge thing that I don't think I've ever really thought of is the more you sell of a car or the more market share you take over, the more you have to service, right? And so you have to be prepared to handle that volume, because if not, that kind of hurts the reputation of your dealership as far as sales, because, hey, you sold me this car, and now you're telling me it's going to take 3 months to fix it. I mean,
yeah, it will hurt the dealership. It will hurt the brand. And again, we don't want that. We want the customers to keep coming back and stay in the family of the Kia brand.
And I think, like I said, you are one of my 3 mentors.
Thank you.
Orlando taught me how to do business. Moya taught me how to sell, and you taught me how to think, which is funny enough.
Thank you.
Is what you said you love to do and what you encourage people to do.
Thank you.
It really, it's huge to me. But, seeing the progression and the evolution has been amazing. And like you said, seeing the employees that started as salespeople, now seeing them in F&I boxes, I brings a smile to my face just seeing that and that progression, that evolution of people. It's something that I can't get out of my head that you mentioned earlier, was you feel like you overpaid for this dealer. So let's wind back a little bit.
Okay.
Because how did you get, after almost 10 years, let's see, trying to do math here.
7.
Well, 7 years here, but
here, yeah.
10 years in the business, and, and Mario and his family being third generation.
I'm 20 years in the business.
20 years in the business. So when you bought this, I mean, you were 15 years in with all of that experience. And like you said, Mario and Lucy being multi-generational owners. How did that happen? Like, how did you, or why did that happen? Why do you feel as though?
Well, you know this because you see some numbers before and you understand how these work. When you trying to put value into business.
That blue sky.
Yeah. When you put value into business, you measure how much is the cost of the real estate. And that's what it is. You can do appraisals and, that's one thing. But the other thing is the business, how you measure the business. And you measure the business is usually based on profit. How you pay for a business that is losing money.
True.
How much are you going to pay for that? You can use some metrics because you can use, I can project based on what I know and based on these numbers, this is what I can make. And then maybe you're going to pay 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. On the dealership world, every manufacturer has how many times blue skies, how many multiples you want to pay. Right now, Kia is 5 times. Back in that time was 3.
Oh, wow.
But they have a base number.
And for reference, what is Toyota today? 10. Okay.
Yeah, because it's really hard to find a Toyota store. It's really hard to find somebody that wants to sell the Toyota store because it's like a good business, a steady business. People trust the manufacturer. Like,
And
that's the most important part.
is that why you think Kia has gone from a 3x multiple to a 5x? Is like, what is driving that increase in a multiple in such a short period of time?
Because people trust more the brands. Owners. The owners of dealers, now they trust more that Kia is a sustainable business. It's a manufacturer that I want to be part of. It's some manufacturers that sometimes they're not aligned with what the customer wants and what the dealers want. And then you make all this huge investment on representing a brand that is, you don't have too much trust about how this is going to last. And that's what drives those numbers. And it is hard for a brand to jump that way in short period of time, like you say. But I think Kia is doing a lot of good things on the overall. Like, they redesigned the entire lineup on a good way and a steady way. And I think they prove it with the Telluride. With the Telluride was like a second generation on a vehicle that was already successful. And they did a couple different models after that. But now they have become in the second wave. And I believe they proved that they did it right. They did right design, still hot in the market, and prove them that they're able to keep evolving. That as an owner, give us trust because, okay, this manufacturer is going the right way. And also what I say about the message that I start hearing from the president of Kia US is like, we care about the customer. We pricing our vehicles based on the customers.
Sure.
A lot of things that people doesn't know, like all these tariffs that was applied to the, imports. One of the biggest affected by that is the car industry and the manufacturers.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's the biggest price tag items that are entering every single day, right?
And then the good manufacturers, like pretty much all of them, but the majority of the big ones are eating that. And you know about this too. How do you eat 25% from the sale price right away? It's not, business doesn't make 25% of the sales price. That's a number that is coming a huge cut. And in the Kia side, I know is a $2 billion cut. On the Toyota side, is similar. Every car that is being produced in Mexico and Canada from right there is 25%. Everything that is coming from Japan or South Korea is 15%. But they're eating that because they're not putting that
Can't
back
pass it on to a consumer.
They're not passing that into consumer because if not, they're going to price their vehicles on a level that is going to be affecting that.
And people won't buy new cars. They'll stay in their car for a longer period.
And then I think that's what happened in the market. What happened in the market now is interests are coming slowly down. Manufacturers are becoming more aggressive on the incentive they're putting out to be able to keep the vehicles affordable. But data shows like 14% of people are paying more than $1,000 for a vehicle today. That's a month. That's never heard before.
What was it before?
Not even 2%.
Wow.
Well, but it's even worse. Before the pandemic in 2019, the average payment for a new car was almost $380. That was the average.
Okay.
Now it's $780. Oof. That's the average on the nation.
Is that purchase or lease or a combination of the two?
That's lease. Purchase is a little bit more.
Wow.
It's almost $50 more. And the used car is around the same, which means if you're buying a car right now, you will expect in a payment between that, which means that's a mix between the $1,000, 14% people are paying more than that. 14% paying more than $1,000, which could be $2,000. And then the rest paying what's average. That's make the $700.
But is that a good sign or a bad sign? Like, does that mean that things are better, or does that mean that that's like, can you still get a car for $380 on a lease? Does that even exist?
It's just, yeah.
Okay.
But it's not the volume, because what a lot of the volume, I can tell you in the Toyota world, you can get a Corolla close to that. It's not going to be $380, no down payment. It's not going to be that. And the Kia side, the K4 and the K5, they're around there. If the manufacturer push the 20% over those vehicles, will never be like that. It will be like $600. And then need to make a mix between what they bring into that and then what they sell on the other vehicles. I don't think it's that the question if it's that good or not. I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Like it's is the payment. But again, it's a mix. Now that the new cars are becoming more expensive because a mix of pricing and also interest rates still high.
Right.
that is being make it up a little bit by the manufacturer incentive. Now your used car has a more value than what you're trading your car. For some people, would be maybe higher than what they pay for that original. It does not happen in every vehicle, but in some vehicles, yes. Which means now you have more that you're gonna put into your new vehicle to buy, or to the used that you're gonna buy. I think eventually that we need to settle, and I can tell you from. By the way, I'm part of the National Dealer Council, which means I represent the Kia dealers in the Southeast in front of the manufacturer.
Very cool.
Which means it's only like 6 of us going nationwide, sitting every month. I have a conversation with the Kia leadership, but also every 3 months I have an in-person conversation. I'm saying this because I'm able to hear firsthand what they're thinking.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know. The conversation on the room is always about how they create and the industry create affordable vehicles. And affordable vehicles mean a different type of vehicles.
Right.
Maybe now they're talking about a small pickup truck that is going to become something that people will pay less because of X and X. The electric vehicles were a huge thing because all the incentive and whatever that we're getting now is not there, but it still is a savings on the gas price for some people important, not for everybody.
Sure. Yeah, the total cost of ownership.
Correct.
And so, I've learned from you a lot, and you kind of opened it up there. A dealer is it 4 or 5 different business? Because I know when everybody thinks of a car dealership, they just think of the car buying process, but you've explained it to me that you have new car, used car is pretty much a whole different business.
Correct.
Then you have service is a whole different business. Then you have rental car, and then parts, right? Is your 5th business?
Service.
And service. Okay, so 5, 6 businesses. How do you operate 5 or 6 different businesses, but vertically aligned businesses, all under the same roof? And then how do you do it with multiple brands? Like, how are you facing this challenge? I got goosebumps just thinking about that. Like, oh, no big deal. You're essentially running within 2 brands in 2 locations, 10, 12 businesses.
Yeah. 3 locations.
And then add a 3rd location, add 5, 6 more to it, 15.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you're invested in other things too. So
with good people. Like it's about the team. You need to have, each department has the manager. And I can tell I feel really confident with the people that is working in each department, but you need to have a manager in each department. Like it's a own business, he's sure a lot, as you say, it's aligned, but it's a completely different thing. So like parts needs to be on top of the inventory, like carrying the right ones, making sure they have the ones that we're going to need tomorrow, because if not, now the cars will take more time into the service piece. Now, the service cares about customer service more than anything, and then care about making sure they have the space to receive the amount of customers we're having. Sales, as you say, new car is different target, different thing. The used car is the same. It's kind of like similar aligned goal, but is other things into the equation too. But the secret, like everything, and you know this too, is about the people that you have with you on your team.
Delegation.
That's what make my life easy. Having good people surrounding, and on top of everything, like everybody has their own goals. And as a store, we have a common goals, and they know that, they understand that. But having those conversations with them and let them manage the way they want it, and having those great people working, make it possible.
Okay, make it possible. Not easy, but impossible. No. So let's give some perspective here. You have 3 locations. Let's shamelessly plug them. 2 in Homestead, right?
2 in Homestead,
a Kia and a Toyota store in Homestead.
Yeah, and a body shop in Homestead.
And a body shop in Homestead.
Yeah.
And then you have the Kia store here, which is like the main Kia store, right? And is this Cutler Bay? Is this Edging Pinecrest?
It's Palmetto Bay.
Palmetto Bay? Okay. Yeah. And amongst all that and your corporate location, where I know you guys do back office stuff, how many employees are you talking amongst the group?
380 employees right now.
380. And when you guys got here and you were the IT guy in a Toyota store, how many employees did you have?
28.
28 employees to 380.
Yes.
quite a big thing.
Quite a
And
bit.
so how many levels of leadership are going into managing 380 employees now?
Well, I'm responsible for a lot of the operations. And then I have pretty much, as I say, I have some common management that split between the stores that are the ones that report directly to me, that are the close one. But you know me, I kind of talk to everybody on the store when I can.
Yeah, I've seen your WhatsApp. It's insane.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. You saw. Yes. But yeah, we have. Can I say 3 level of management?
Well, that's not a lot. I mean, that's pretty compressed and pretty direct.
Yeah,
right?
I can tell you. I reply sometimes to Google reviews. When I see Google reviews for a specific location and I see that, I get a copy of all of that. I care about that. And I send that to the direct manager. What is happening here? How we're going to solve it? Because at the end of the day, problems always are going to happen, especially handling 3,000 customer every month in each location, kind of. You always will have something that happened that somebody won't be happy about it. That's okay, because that's okay. That's business. The difference, but the difference is how you solve that.
Sure.
That's my message every time to them. Things happen. It's a mistake, whatever. Maybe we didn't know how to manage that initially. How are we going to solve this? Because we cannot let this work like this. And it's not like about somebody changing the Google reviews. I care about it, not about the change. I care about how we are going to attack this situation. Are we able to communicate with that customer? Are we able to change that? But I think when that happens, is hands on deck. Everybody's on top of, okay, we got this. How are we going to solve it? Yeah. And I think that's one of the biggest focus that every manager has. The customers needs to be happy when they're here, because that's the only way they're going to come back.
Right. And the referrals come in. And
correct.
So, I mean, I remember back in the day, I feel like everybody that walked into a showroom said, I know Boris, and they wanted the Boris special. So do you still see that high level volume coming in that I know Boris and they want to work directly with Boris? Or now are people saying, hey, I know Frank? Yeah. What is that like these days? Obviously, you're not selling a car. When was the last time you sold a car? Do you do it just for fun every once in a while?
I always get involved. I've
seen you float around on the sales floor once in a while.
And I love that. I always get involved, and obviously I still have a lot of friends that reach out to me. Like, that's a good question for somebody that work in any of the stores. Like, how many are coming? Like, a lot of people.
Because I know they track that, I'm sure.
Yeah, they know me. But I told the people that work at the store, reach out to me. I don't care. Call me, and I'll tell you. But people doesn't need to feel that they know me to be able to have a good experience. Like, everybody should have a great experience. If they know me, fine. But if not, we have so many long-time employees that I know people go and go to them. And I love that. I love when I see that people are coming to see the employees. And even though my own friends, sometimes they don't reach out to me. They know exactly who to talk to get.
They don't want to deal with you either.
Yeah, to get the things done. But, I think still a lot, that going and, I know Boris. But, I know Mario, or I know that. The employees know how to work on that, and they always give a good treatment to everybody. I want them to earn, like, I'm coming back because I want to deal with Marcos or Maria or Adam or no.
I bought my Grand Highlander without getting you involved.
You get Raji involved?
Yeah. No, with Raji, yeah, I did get Raji involved. Raji was my salesman, and he handed me off. So of course, my first phone call is to Raji. I'm like, is Boris even here?
Yeah.
I don't want to bug him.
Yeah. Yes.
So Boris, something that I'm asking all of my guests, and I mean, you have 380 employees. You have massive amounts of real estate and space and inventory and liability. And I mean, there's a lot of reasons to keep you up at night. Do you go to sleep peacefully?
Yes.
Okay. So
I meditate.
Meditation is the key.
Meditation is the key.
Is there anything that still keeps you up? Like, what are the last thoughts that you're thinking of that, never kind of go away? Are there concerns in the business, or has it gotten to a point where you're just going to be able to take care of it?
Well, no, it's always things that concern, and I can tell coming from a country like Venezuela, when everything was related to politics and all of that, when I saw that all those news around that create a concern every time. But to be honest, I believe we're living in a great country, an amazing country that has a lot of balanced places. And I really believe the economy is always, you can have a hiccup and all that. You need to know how to maneuver through that. But at the end of the day, like I heard a lot, like you never bet about the United States and it's always going to be good. With that, knowing that, make my life easy for sure.
Okay. There's a lot of comfort in that.
And then I always trying to do the best I can every day, because I do that. When I go to sleep, I know I'm going for the best I can. Like I did my best today.
And you're obsessive with everything.
I'm obsessed.
Let's call it how it is. I mean,
yes.
I just saw you won a paddle tournament.
Oh yeah. That was.
I mean, you just picked up paddle like 2 years ago.
Yeah. That's fun for me. Like that's a hobby. Like I never had a hobby before.
But you got a coach, and I mean, you took it super serious. You weren't everything you do is.
Oh, because at the end you have fun, but if you are competing, you're competing like the best way you can. But it's the same thing. Like I do every day the best I can. And that's, keep me up at night, a change and all of that. But again, I still believe that having the great team give me a lot of peace. I know everybody that works at the stores and every business, they're focused on doing better. And that gives me a lot of peace, honestly. And that allow me to sleep much better.
Good.
Yes.
So what's next? 3 locations, a new built store.
We're always in the hunting, like see what else we can find. Obviously,
and is that in the car space or in general? Like what is Boris on the hunt for these days?
Well, obviously, ideally, we'll be in the car space.
Okay.
I believe, like being part of 3 is always easy. Being part of 4, 5, 6, and I think that's like it's a natural growth. We have more people. More family members into the dealerships now, and I think the natural thing will be keep growing. And I think giving each one the opportunity to grow into stores and grow. And again, having 3, I think is a pinpoint to have more opportunities in the future to keep acquiring more. I would prefer that to be in Miami. It will be complicated based on everything we're seeing.
Yeah.
But again, we're open, and then we're seeing. I hope we see another brands coming into our way.
And what is driving that desire to maybe have more locations or more brands? Is it really just growing those employees into more positions? And now that you've tacked on another 100 employees, another 100 people are looking for opportunities. Is it a personal desire to have more brands or more locations? Is it a combination of both? Like why more locations? Obviously, you guys are succeeding with 3 comfortably. I hope.
Yes.
What are the revenues of all 3 locations combined? Can we put that number out there?
The sales revenue?
Sales, service, like top line revenues. We don't, not profit, revenues.
Yeah, the revenue is huge because we're talking about a line that is like.
Yeah, you're talking cars. It's not that
cars that is
you make money on
$500+ million.
$500+ million in annual sales across. Wow. So you're doing $500+ million. Your life is not complicated enough. You're looking to potentially expand. What is the driving force behind it?
The driving force, I'm still young.
Okay.
I still have the power to wake up in the morning and do more things. I think it's a couple things. Curiosity is one. Getting to know new manufacturers, getting to know new people in the industry, that's one. Second, you mentioned that, and I think that's the strongest one. I think you're preparing a team into a position that now what I'm going to do with this person. And then when you have the most valuable asset for us is the employees first. When you have this team of good people that you want to give them the opportunity to do something much better. And you have that. What is next step? Putting them into a role that they're able to kill it,
right?
To do it great for them and for
their family,
for the family and for everybody. I think that's one of the most powerful ones. Like it's like I don't know how you put it, but let's say you have a team full of superstars, and then you have too many. What else you need to build a new team.
Yeah,
to have a second team to put these superstars into this new team.
And then maybe they're
against each other, and maybe they're gonna do much better than the one that you have in one place. That's one analogy that I can think of. But that's one of the reasons. And again, still hungry to keep doing better. As I say, I challenge myself every day on the situation, like what is next? What is not enough? What are we going to do next? And then that's part of that, keeping hungry.
Okay.
Staying hungry.
So when will you get to the number one dealer? And what will you do then? Do you have something in mind? If you make it to number one, you make it to the top. Is it just a bottle of champagne getting popped? Is it we're taking the whole team, to I don't know where? We're taking them to the factory in Japan or in Korea? Like, once you achieve number one, does it stop there? Is there a treat that you've set? Or is that just a checkbox? We finally have been recognized for everything that we've put in.
Well, first, I need to say that's really hard to do. Like, especially because it's not only dependent on us, it's about the market too. Can we make it work? I think this Kia store is capable to do it. Can we make it happen? I think this Kia store is able to make it happen because of the consumers around and the opportunity we have. We have everything here that to make it possible. We're not that far from, we're really close. We're being a couple times number 3 in the country. And again, we're talking not many units to be the number one.
So if you need a Kia, come on down.
Yeah.
We're almost there.
Yeah. At the end of the day, we want to be an option. Like, we understand how hard it is to sometimes buying a car is really complicated. Like, so many offers, so many noise on the market, like make it people too complicated to make a decision. Like, if I'm making the best deal possible, if I'm doing that. For us, we only trying to be an option for people. Give me a chance. Let me show you what we can do. And then if at the end it's not the best, we're happy to, guide you in the best direction. And again, that's, yes, we need more options, more people wanting to have us as an option to becoming the number one. With the treat, I don't know where we'll be. That was never on the horizon, but we'll find something nice for everybody to enjoy and keep it hungry to keep doing it.
Hey, team, you guys heard it from me from here, from Mark Jelensik first. If you guys get invited on the trip when you hit number one, I planted that seed, okay? Well, I wish you the absolute best.
Thank you, my friend.
You've been, like I said, an amazing mentor. I'm glad we got to sit down for just a brief part of time and tell your story, tell the brand story, just the top of it. I encourage you guys to follow Boris, follow everything that he's doing, follow everything that the group is doing, the charity events that they're, supporting and sponsoring. It truly is an amazing group here. To his point, everybody that has worked here, they're top notch.
Yeah.
And you don't have to come and ask for the Boris special. Just come get the South Dade special. And they will take care of you. And the process, in my opinion, is a lot better than most.
We want to do it much better. But I think technology at some point will allow us to do it much better.
Sure.
We're working on it. I think like a lot of dealers wanted to make it easy and better for people.
What's the fastest you could get a customer in and out these days?
I think we can do it really fast if the people advance online, if have a lot of the initial questions and all of that online. I think we can have somebody in and out in less than an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I mean, that's been my experience here, but I've come in and I know exactly what I want, right?
That's what we love. We like somebody that's come, we already had a decision, like kind of making the final touch and maybe making sure this is the car I want.
Yeah, test drive everything is, sure.
But again, doing all the diligence online and having everything that is supposed to be complex about the deal sort out initially and then coming ready to do it. Like, we don't want people to move here when they're here, like, oh no, now is this different, now is that different. Like, we want that to be transparent and smooth.
Yeah. I mean, in the insurance space, I have customers call me from dealers all the time. Most of the time they're upset, right? They're like, I just want to get out of here. This is taking all day. I got a 2-year-old here that's been running around and has grabbed a marker from somewhere and colored on every wall. And now this car is going to cost me $2,000 more because I got to paint the place, right? So I think, being a prepared buyer and coming in and just certifying it, your decision, right? Because that's when you've selected something, drive it, make sure that's the one thing you can't do online is drive it, make sure it's as comfortable and make sure the car seat fits. So I've learned that the hard way, and that you could be all the way in the back position and still drive with a car seat behind you, and then just get it done. And have people that are willing to not jerk you around for hours. And I don't know why, it used to be a thing where you needed to spend all Saturday buying a car. It shouldn't have to be that way. And you've done a great job of not making it that anymore.
Yeah, we tried. I know some people like that way. Some customers.
Oh, yeah, they want the back and forth. They want to feel like the win.
They want the back and forth. But again, we're here for that. Like if they're happy with that. But as I say, like we spend so much time and so much effort making sure the people that are here is aware of what happened in the online world. And if we have any communication in the middle, pick it from there. Don't start from the beginning.
Gotcha.
But like if we offer already a number, a price, a value for your trade and all of that, we take it from there and continue. Like we don't need to change those numbers when you get to the store. Like that's one of the efforts that we're doing to make sure that experience is smooth and a happy ending. Like you're ending with a car. At the end, you're always happy because you're getting a new car.
Yeah.
You're getting doesn't matter if I use or new, you're getting a treat to yourself. Like, why make it complicated? Why make it like a suffer the people to do that?
Yeah. Like you said, here in Miami, it's a necessity to have a vehicle. It's really not an option, but you have a lot of choices, right? And you could get un transportation, or you could get a brand new plug-in, electric or anything like that and get all the bells and whistles and all the technology. Because I remember, the Corollas aren't the same base Corollas that they are today. The base Corolla comes with absolutely everything. I mean, a backup camera used to be an option. You had to trim up. And now I feel like the most basic car has all the tech, right?
Yeah. And I think some manufacturers make a decision to, discontinue all the passenger vehicles. Like Ford did it, like pretty much everybody, like Toyota, Kia are the few ones that still have that, but they need to have something that you're fine when you're driving. Like you see Tesla. Tesla is obviously selling a lot of vehicles. I think that's the passenger car more sold in America.
It is the Model Y.
It's a reason why. Like it's obviously easy to buy. Is the pricing is easy, but also it's not too many options in that. The car is coming standard with pretty much everything you will need.
Pick a color, pick a rim.
And again, it's a reason why behind that. Like I think manufacturers are learning from that too. And yeah, Toyota, Kia, the ones that stay on that segment, that is not many, they need to be up to the competition and to the challenge to have a nice vehicle and make it you feel happy driving that vehicle. Again, it's all coming with a cost. And then when you were talking about that Corolla, we were talking maybe sometimes $15,000 car. Like
out the door.
Today's $10,000 more, which means almost 1,000% more.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot.
That's a big change. I mean, I like to think not that long of a time, but now I look at it and I go, oh, it's been some years.
Yes. Yes.
Well, Boris, I'm glad you're young, you're hungry, you're looking for opportunity. You're looking for opportunity for your team around you. Like I said, we wish you nothing but the best. It's been an absolute pleasure sitting down with you. I'm sure we could keep going for hours here.
Yeah.
But this is all the time we have for today. So once again, thank you. And if you guys are looking for a vehicle, either Kia, Toyota, or any used vehicle, because they got them all here from Mercedes G-Wagons and Range Rovers, come check out South Dade Group. Come meet the beautiful people here. You won't be disappointed. And if you leave a Google review and it's not a good one, Boris might be the one to respond to you and get that resolved. So come check them out. You won't be disappointed. Thank you.
Thank you.